Omnisport Breakfast with MKT and Kevin McCollum on Omnisport Africa.
Kevin's 5 bets in review, brought to you by Betway. Kev's luck has changed, and not for the better. Last week we had 4 out of 5. Now we got
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Uno, dos, tres out of 5. What's going on, Kev? Luck of the Irish running out.
I'm just going to keep it saying Spurs destroyed everyone this weekend. Yeah. And it was almost like I was okay to lose the $50 because of that, but I wasn't. Take my money, keep it. That was Spurs. I think knocked everyone out. If everyone had it all to come, you were going City. City were far and above the favourites to win. But I'm going to start at the top. So Manchester City, they've gone from being a betting banker to a betting tanker. And why do they call it tanker? They call it tanker because they are slow, old, and full of oil money.
Okay, I see it. That one works.
I know.
That one actually works.
I was going to use another word, but I'm not allowed to.
No. Well, no. You're a fully grown man.
I'm not, because there's that word that rounds a banker that
yes
means banker.
Yes.
Basically. But so I started off. So the numbers that I've given for odds for each team. So if you put R1 down on France, you would get a return of, let's say, 1.28. France 1.28 to beat Argentina, who were 5-1 to win, and then they won. So I won that one. 37-23, France's third win in 3 tests at the start of France, 6 days after they beat New Zealand 30-29, which was an incredible game of rugby. I watched replays of that throughout the weekend again. It's just a display and attacking, entertaining rugby.
France-Argentina?
Yeah. No, France and New Zealand, and then France-Argentina as well. But both of the games have been outstanding. Argentina were full of errors, full of nonsense. They had a yellow card for essentially, I think it was the flank, slapped the ball out on the full, which you're not allowed to do. He actually just pushed it out.
So no, the yellow, he didn't get a yellow for that.
He did get a yellow.
Oh, did he, for the penalty try?
Yellow and a penalty try.
So, by the way, we need to talk about that. I hate the double punishment there, but yeah. the other yellow was absolute malarkey. The croc roll, where the guy landed on the guy's calf, I was like, what are we doing here? What is going on in rugby? Quick one on the rugby, that Argentina-France game. I thought Argentina made the same mistake that New Zealand made. Why don't you just front up? France's pack is clearly where the soft spot is. I mean, I forget what the black prop's name is, but he's horrendous. In the tight 5, France are not there. And New Zealand did the same thing. Why are you going wide so early? In fact, Argentina were dominating up front. Mm-hmm. But then they kept wanting to play the champagne rugby. Now, I understand you got some sick outside backs, but just bully them for the first 60 minutes and soften them up. And then you proverbially earn the right to go wide. But France, it fell into their hands.
You basically got to drag the other team into the fight. You got to maul them. You got to bring them in and you got to ruck them. So they commit more people to the ruck. The fewer people they commit, the less space it is wide. And that is what they did wrong. Argentinian scrum has not been the great force it used to be, but they're getting it back again. But Contemplani is very much focusing on the back line. The stats for Argentina, they were quite close in stats, but in line breaks and turnovers, they were close. But then Argentina were far ahead of France in terms of meters made after line breaks, passes and carries, and they actually made more meters after that line break. I think about 2-1. So they are making it, and I think there's going to be a bubble burst where they're just going to go boom, and they're going to have that moment of belief, and Argentina are going to be a big force in rugby next year. I really do believe that.
Well, we saw a little bit of it against Australia, right? I don't think that was a fluke. To your exact point, is that if they could just be disciplined as well, stop with the yellow cards and stop with the penalties, and the poor line-out work. If they can just get 5% tighter and more professional in the things where you have to be professional, Argentina are going to be a serious problem because their outside backs are.
I think watching the Rugby Championship next year, and actually watch the Rugby Championship next year, because Australia, Joe Schmidt's got them clicking. I think New Zealand can only get better. The Springboks need to keep on working and evolving and getting better, that constant evolution. It's not what Jamie Roberts interviewed Sia Khaleesi after the game, the former Welsh
Dr. Jamie Roberts.
Dr. Jamie Roberts, the big Welsh back, and they'd obviously played together at the Stormers. And he said, Jamie Roberts said, I think you're the best team in the world. And the thing of what makes South Africa different to other teams, after the Rugby World Cup final they won, they immediately started planning for the next World Cup. Yeah. And they probably started planning for the next World Cup a year before that World Cup. Yeah. So there was no saying, hey, well done, pat in the back, let's get pissed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They wasn't right. Go have a beer, but we know what we're doing.
Exactly.
You come back. That's the state you got to come back in. You don't come back looking like Anthony's had a big weekend at Ibiza.
Exactly. And, the Rugby Championship will be the best it'll ever be, and then they'll give the World Team of the Year to Italy next year.
Or someone who can speak French.
Exactly.
And speaking of people who shouldn't be able to speak French, Arsenal at home to Forest. So I went with both teams in that game. This is the second leg. This is where it all went basically tits up for me. At Arsenal at home to Forest, I went with both teams to score at 2.14. Loss. 3-0. Arsenal, come on. I mean, Forest, all you had to do is just get one goal.
Yeah.
I mean, score one thing, but they didn't. Phil Berlovitz and I, who's the social media manager and content manager at Betway, he was on the show on Thursday, and we both took this bet. So Forest and Arsenal stuffed us both. But it's actually good to see Bukayo Saka back. I love the way he plays football, and Odegaard to me is a joy to watch as a football player. Have you ever watched a midfielder who's in the peak of his performance and peak of his game? He's the guy you watch at the moment, and you just watch it to enjoy and to celebrate.
Couldn't agree more. Maestro, yeah, come on, Nottingham Forest. Oh, bloody hell, Nuno.
And then Phil and I both took this as well. Man City at 1.48 to beat Spurs, who were 5.6 at home to win. Loss. I don't know what more to say. They just seem to be bereft. And we spoke about it earlier. It's almost about the look rather than the substance at City at the moment. And I think those charges are hanging heavy over them. They probably thought that Pep Guardiola announcing this extension would take a lot of the heat away, but it hasn't. It's almost exacerbated a bit now. Saying, right, Pep, why are you staying? You're staying because you don't want your legacy to be this season. You want to show Alex Ferguson a legacy. But what he forgets is Alex Ferguson was allowed to sign the Robin from Robbie van Persie from Arsenal at a ridiculous rate for a guy who was over 30 for the last couple of seasons, so that he could look good, so he could win him the league. And Van Persie did win him the league. There's a goal. I'm still trying to get like
the volley. That's from Rooney to him. I know the volley you're talking about is it's like a 60-yard pass from Rooney, and Van Persie hits it over the shoulder first time. Just like okay, and then we knew it was problems.
Scary. It is just that was scary. But no, that is the problem now. He misses Rodri more than he cares to admit. Misses De Bruyne more than he cares to admit, and he can't rely on those two. He needs to bring someone else through. Kyle Walker needs to step up.
Yeah, a little bit of arrogance from Man City. One of the cardinal sins that Fergie was so brilliant at, love him or hate him, the great Sir Alex Ferguson, what made him great was the ability to move on a year too early rather than a year too late of players. That's where Fergie was separated himself from everyone for me. You remember when Mourinho came, because Wenger came and everyone thought, oh, it's over. Then Mourinho came and everyone thought, oh, it's over. And then he did the three-peat again. And he said, no, I'm the guy here. Every time. I mean, Fergie had 4 all-time squads. He refreshed the team 4 times. His great secret was when they won, and it's in Rio Ferdinand's book, when they won, Giggs, Scholes, all of these guys would be in the manager's office the next day. Who are we signing next? Because Man City have kind of gotten comfortable and they've made the cardinal sin. Don't let the squad get old at the same rate. You can't do that. And now everyone's kind of on the 30 bubble, and they're old. They are just, it's not a Rodri. I don't think it's a Rodri thing. I think it's they're old, and they all age at the same time. 07, 88, 77, 77, 16. Your thoughts on Man City? All right, who else we got there, Kev? Can't believe Spurs won.
And then we go to the other side of Manchester. Manchester United at 1.64 to beat Ipswich, 5-1 to win. I mean, I should have gone both teams to score, but I went United to win because I felt sorry for them, and I thought the new Ruben would make a difference, and he didn't.
He did not.
I mean, there was an incoherence to the way they played. There was like a nothingness. Bruno Fernandes almost lost interest after a while. He just like seemed to go out of it. Casemiro looked good. Rashford, I mean, scoring after 81 seconds. I thought, there's a centre forward. Where have you been?
Yeah.
And then we didn't see him for the rest of the game. Disappeared.
He's terrible.
So for me, United, Ruben is probably looking at, right, well, I don't know if they can still get that job at Porto, a Sporting back. I mean, but he knows what he's in for, and he didn't look flustered, and I like that look about him. I think he'd drag United up to about a massive, 7th, maybe 6th in the league.
To do well to get to 10th. You know what's worrying for them is Onana was the man of the match, because in all reality, they should have lost 3 or 4. Because
he stuck a foot out to save one. Blank shot.
There was that one, and then what about the one that hit him on the hand? I mean, Dilap, what a ball by Leif Davis. Dilap is, I mean, put it in the corner, and somehow Onana reaches out, Inspector Gadget hand, hits him on the arm. Those are 2 point-blank saves. Onana was unreal yesterday. So for him to be man of the match against Ipswich, oh man.
Yeah, so I was ready. That's the 4th leg, and I was already 2 for 2, not in a good way. And then, of course, I went on Liverpool, 1.28 to continue the winning ways against Southampton, 9.6 to win. And then I started getting a bit nervous when we went 2-1 down. And then we won. Mdu this morning, first thing he said to me, what do you think? He said, you guys cheat. Hürzeler was offsides. Okay, he didn't say it in that accent. That's an Afrikaans accent. It's a bloke accent.
But I get it. I can hear Mdu saying that.
Yeah. And Mo Salah. There was an interview with him where he was talking about he's been speaking to Arsene Wenger. And one of his coaches said to him, but we see you drift out of the game and you're not always in the game. And he said, but here's the thing. I found the moment. And he finds the moment. And you'll not see him in the game. And suddenly he appears through a trapdoor. And there's this long launch ball. He said, who's that to? And there's Mo Salah waiting for it. Just managing to sneak onside, go through, set something up, scare the living bejesus into them. Liverpool use the long ball, I think, better than any other club in England, probably possibly the world at the moment, and they use it in a very clever way.
Where the hell is McCarthy going, their goalkeeper? Where are you going?
Yeah. And he didn't do it just once. He did it about 3 or 4 times, but he just passed out from the back. So the manager, Wilson, I think his name is, he's been casting and said, guys, why are we still trying to play it out from the back when we're not actually a play it out the back from the back team? We haven't got the skills, we haven't got the calmness, we haven't got the composure.
Russell Martin's the guy's name.
That's it, Russell Martin. Anyway, so that cost me, and I'm just going to run through Phil's bets quickly. So he had Everton to beat Brentford, a loss, because he thought both teams were going to score. It was Brentford's first away point of the season, and they had to play with 10 men for 53 minutes. So that speaks a lot for how bad a place Everton are in. He went Arsenal Forest, same as me, both teams to score. He went Bournemouth Brighton, both teams to win, both teams to score, and he won that one. I thought Fabian and Hürzeler is now up in 5th. Brighton are 5th place. We've been talking about how great this guy is.
They're doing it. Yeah. He's 31 years old, that guy.
So we both went. He went 4 from 5. I went 3 from 5. Yeah, so it wasn't a good weekend for us. So next week, this Thursday, Phil and I and a couple others will be in the studio to talk about bets for the weekend. Align
your betting chakras this Thursday. Join Kevin's bets, proudly brought to you by Betway. That is a review of those. We got a man who is besotted with Tottenham, and he's a man who knows a thing or two about putting a punt down. Warren Bedil, 60 seconds.
Omnisport Breakfast with MKT and Kevin McCollum on Omnisport Africa.
2-11 for 7 in the cricket. Australia, heaps of trouble. So, by the way, I thought it was the Wacker. They've got this other ridiculous name for this one. It's some sponsored stadium.
It's the Optus Stadium. It's out on the it's the Yarra. It's not the Yarra River's in Melbourne. Whatever the river is called. It's got mud in it.
Yeah. I mean, just play at the Wacker. It's fine. Yeah. We don't need a million cricket stadiums. We can barely fill one cricket stadium. You can't even fill that one. Why do you need another cricket stadium when you can't even fill the Wacker, which is like 100 and whatever thousand people? Makezi upset Sundowns. I think upset a lot of people. Just as big an upset though, Spurs upsetting Man City. Warren Bedil joining us. Warren, are you still celebrating? Have you slept since the football?
Morning, gents. What a result, eh? Unbelievable. 4-0. No one's going to predict that. Biggest loss in Pep's history. He's never lost 4-0 at home. And I wouldn't say we were comfortable, but we were efficient, eh? Every time we had an opportunity, we stuck it away. Maddison was reborn, and Solanke didn't stop running. That guy does not stop running. I've never seen a guy so fit. He does not stop running. And Kyle Walker showed all 34 years of his age. Timo Werner ran straight past him. Never seen anybody run past Walker before. But, yeah, efficiency at its max. And, very, very happy with the result. We're back in contention. We're right up there. And fortunately, United didn't get that new manager bump, so they've fallen behind us. And but Chelsea look like they're getting good. Hey, worryingly so. This Maresca's finding his groove. Sorry, I was digressing.
Yeah, listen. Don't worry about Chelsea. I can see the Spurs thing of worrying about. Let's just get through from cattle class. We sit in business class, and then we go to first class. Let's not worry about Chelsea and those. You must just worry about what happened on Saturday. Warren, on that point, were you good or was City that bad? Because there's always two sides to football.
Excellent question. First of all, it's the Swan River, by the way.
Thank you.
That's where they play.
Okay.
Yes, the Swan River. But we were good. They were, everybody's trying to throw the baby out of the bathwater with City. Haaland has been awful. It's not like they haven't outplayed every team that they've met. Even that 4-1 thumping they took at Sporting, they were better. They just haven't been finishing. Haaland has been off the boil, and sure, Vicario was good. Hey, he made 3 or 4, maybe even 5 top quality saves. And the other thing that I thought was interesting, MKT, was we've got 2 proper defenders at the back now. And I know they're not Romero and Van der Ven, but Dragusin look rock solid. And Davies is defender. The guy doesn't go past halfway line where he gets a nosebleed. So it's a very different approach. Romero's a phenomenal defender, but he's loose. Van der Ven's an incredible defender, but he ends up on his backside most of the time. I thought we were much more composed defenders doing what they're supposed to do. But like I say, I don't think City's as bad as everybody thinks it is. And I know we're talking betting opportunities. How's this for a long shot? City to beat Liverpool at Anfield this weekend. It's not far fetched, let me tell you. Well, it could be a wild one to go for. It's about 3.5 to 1, I think, on the odds.
I want to come back to that because it's something that I'd had some thoughts about there. But you speak of betting. For you, I do sometimes chat to you, Warren, and I go during the game. How do you bet on a team like Spurs? Because it's just such a roller coaster. Even in Ange's time, it's been such a roller coaster. How do you bet? Like with your heart, with your head? I mean, it must be...
Never the heart. With Spurs, never the heart, ever. Always the head. I try not to bet on Spurs because they should be beating Ipswich and they shouldn't be beating City. So who knows? But I think a bank on Spurs is for them to always score. So if you can back them to score a goal, and in some cases both teams to score, ironically City didn't this weekend. I think either both teams or Spurs to score. I think that's your banker. But to actually back Spurs for a result these days, it literally blows hot and cold. So we got Fulham on the weekend at home, and the last time we came with a big result, we went and got beat by Ipswich at home. So I'd like to think that we're turning a corner, but you actually never know with Spurs. Hey, it's and it depends on what the team plays. So City obviously they play with a high press, and Fulham are likely to play with a low block. And that's almost our Achilles heel, the low block. And in fact, it's the Achilles heel for City too. So, betting against Spurs, never. Betting with Spurs, like you say, it's a roller coaster. I'd say go with something predictable. Spurs to score. You always get half decent odds, and they're likely to do just that because they attack with 10.
Yeah, they really do flood forward. Kev's got something for you.
So speaking of,
go on.
How did your bets go this weekend, Warren? What did you bet on?
I was very soft this week, and I actually went on Spurs to score. It was a nice simple one, but I actually backed United to win, and they go and draw. So they were up, and let me tell you something. Ipswich, something happening also. They got an interesting coach there, and they got a nice guy up top. He's a teenager.
Yeah, I love him. He's a proper. I would take him at Chelsea over Jackson. Yeah,
Jackson's scoring goals now. Hey,
listen, I don't like the just scoring goals thing. This new age is to what you're saying about Davis. Sorry, Delap. What I love about him that Jackson just doesn't have is 2 things: his ability to hold the ball up, and then when he holds it up, his decision making. You've got the decision making of do I play on the spin when I've held the defender off, or do I give it back and feed it into the midfield and sort of get back my number 9 position. I watched that young man yesterday go in, and he dragged De Ligt, who's a serious defender. He dragged De Ligt from pillar to post, and he couldn't get a kick, all because of his first touch, sensational, great physical strength, and then he'd spin off him, and Omari Hutchinson was in behind. I thought Delap was unbelievable. That was a masterclass in striker play yesterday. He
was good against us a couple of weeks ago as well, but it's interesting that you say that because you look at City. I mean, okay, so Haaland is clearly off form, but again, he gets so many opportunities that he's going to start packing goals a game. But they had Aguero before, and that's the system they play. They tend to have this focal point of a striker. That's his role. His role is to score goals. But the other thing is that you look at a Harry Kane, and I mean, obviously, I've still love Harry Kane. Did you see the goal he scored for Bayern the other day?
I did.
The one where he literally caught the ball on his foot and then nodded it home.
Yeah. No, he's pretty
unbelievable.
He's terrific. He's got like 800 hat tricks this year.
Correct, but he is so complete, Harry Kane, and he's so rare. So someone they can play number 9 and number 10 is so rare, but he is that good. This Delap looks like he's got those similar qualities. Physical, you're right, he can hold the ball up, make the right decisions, but like I say, I don't think, and I don't want to go back to the City thing because I think everybody thinks they've gone 5 in a row. But go look at those stats. They've thumped everybody. They just haven't put them away. And De Bruyne has been missing, and everyone's talking about Rodri, but up to this point they were doing fine without Rodri. De Bruyne is the key. He also, when he came on against Spurs, those last 15 odd minutes, we were under pressure, and De Bruyne is important, and Haaland's important, and I'm telling you, this weekend could be a freak show. Liverpool, they didn't look so flash against Southampton yesterday, and it did take a Salah brace to finish him off. I don't know what that guy was doing at the end of the handball. Shocking defending. But it gave Liverpool the 3 points, and I'm telling you, they're a superb side, slot machine as they call it. But City going there, listen, they keep drawing, but it could be a wild one. City to break this terrible run with a win at Anfield. You never know in the Premier League these days. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, indeed. It's the kind of drama we're after. If you're just joining us, we are speaking to Warren Bedil, massive Spurs fan, and one who likes who doesn't mind a punt here and there. 0788 777716. Your thoughts, number one, on Warren's Spurs. He thinks they're back in the mix, and then also in terms of the young man who played for Ipswich up front. McKenna's doing a great job, but I thought Delap was fantastic. Would love to hear your thoughts. You can send your WhatsApp and voice notes to 0788 777716. Kev, what you got?
So Arsenal put 3 past Forest. Forest have shipped 6 in the last 2 games. Now, Arsenal back, I mean, are they in the title race, or is it like a Champions League place and maybe the Carabao Cup as much as they're going to get?
What an interesting league we got at the moment. I mean, who would have had Liverpool 8 points clear?
Yeah.
Only, I mean, what are we, a third of the season in? Just under a third of the season in. I mean, 8 points is a serious gap. I always look at goal difference as a big telltale sign as to how teams are going. And the top one is Liverpool at plus 16. They've scored 24 and conceded 8. And then Spurs at plus 14. Scored 27 and conceded 13. Arsenal, Chelsea, City, they're all in the plus 9s, plus 5s. You know, Liverpool are looking exceptional. I don't know. They just, are they going to drop 3 games over the course of the season and Arsenal go unbeaten for the rest of it? That's what it is. It's 9 points. It's a big ask. And listen, anything can happen. We've said it before, but this Liverpool side does look really solid under Slot. And he seems like he's got a good culture there. I mean, they've only lost once. They lost to Forest at home. Isn't that freaky? But I think Forest, they'll drift down the table, even though Nuno's done a good job there. Brighton look good. Whoa.
Yeah,
Brighton look as sour.
Well, speaking of them, I mean, Brighton have Hürzeler at 31. You know, they've just had an incredible sort of rhythm of making sure that they get the right manager over and over. Tony Bloom, what an absolute mensch that guy's. He's just got the model perfect. You know, be who you are is what they say. And Brighton don't try and sort of operate outside their world. Warren, I want to finish off on this with you. Is the Steve Cooper sacking to me is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. You know, because West Ham did this with David Moyes, right? Is they thought,
yes,
we're so tired of the rubbish football. It's like, what are you talking about? The guy just won your European trophy. He gets you in the bloody top half. Who do you think you are? You're not bloody Real Madrid. Yeah. So, and they got bored. Don't get bored of greatness, is what I heard. For them to be top half was insane. For Steve Cooper, having lost the players you've lost, for him to have you outside of the relegation zone after you've been promoted is hysterical. And then you fire him after 9 games or whatever.
No, mad. You know, listen, Ange Postecoglou has been a breath of fresh air at Spurs, but as you say, you know, you need seatbelts if you're a Spurs fan because you don't know what's going to happen. But you got to commit to him, and you got to understand that Jurgen Klopp in his first season, you know, he started at Spurs. His first game was 0-0 Spurs Liverpool, and he wasn't too flash in his first season, but they stuck with him. And I find it bizarre that these clubs can sack an oak after. They know him well. He's been there before. They know him. They know his system. They knew what they were getting. And I find it bizarre that they sack these guys after not giving them a chance. On a final note, because I know we're looking at 1 minute to 9. Watch this documentary on Netflix about the Boston Red Sox. And then you'll understand why Liverpool are where they are. It's all about leadership. And that Fenway group is unbelievable. How they commit to leadership, they commit to a system. Yes, they got this money ball system and so on and so forth, but they commit. And then they see the results. And you look at the entire portfolio. They don't buy success, they build success. And that should be the benchmark of what other clubs do. And you know what? The league needs a strong Man United. It's been a joke to have such a weak Man United. Everybody wants to beat United. It's been easy. It's good to have a strong United. Competition is good. It's going to be a fantastic. I'm telling you, the next 5 years in the Premier League are going to be fantastic. There are some really, really strong clubs. The ones that are coming mid-table, pushing up because they're believing in their system. Look at Aston Villa. I know they're rocking a little bit now, but they've believed in Emery and they're going to pull the trigger and they're going to go further. Newcastle's the same. But on that note, I can tell you something. Leicester, they're going to start all over again. They may get that new manager bump, like we call it, but tactically, strategically, you got to follow something. Yeah. And I believe Spurs are on the right path. To dare is to do, Addery es factory. That is our motto. Jeez, he lives it every day. Yeah, it is unbelievable. His plan B is do plan A better.
Yeah.
Well, come on, you Spurs, boys.
Come on, you Spurs, says Warren Bedil. Warren, we'll chat next week because plenty to talk about there. Want to talk more about Leicester and sort of your approach to betting. Appreciate your time this morning.
And remember, I think an outsider, City to beat Liverpool at Anfield. Wild, but a little flutter.
Yeah, 3.2.
Onto Spurs to beat Fulham. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think nice and soft. A soft and an outsider. I think that'll be a nice bet.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Other than that, boys, have a nice week, a nice sporting week. A lot of European football, and we'll talk in a week, gents.
Talk in a week. Appreciate you, Warren.
Be well.
All right. Well, that's our question of the day. From 2001 to 2023, only 3 Springboks had won the World Rugby Player of the Year. Who are they?
Yeah, Skalkberger, Brandon Banner. That was 2004 and 2007. Brandon Banner won after the 2007 World Cup. And Peter Steff has won it twice.
Yep, he has done it twice. There's still only 3 players who have won it. All great Springboks. Have all done great things. All right, that is it for today's show. Join us tomorrow for the latest in sport from Africa and around the world.
Listen live and on demand.
Welcome to Omnisport.